Our bill, Senate Joint Memorial 8004, passed. Brought to you by Whole Washington for universal health care in Washington State. What is Senate Joint Memorial 8004? It's addressed to the federal government, so this is to Donald Trump, the Senate, the House, etc. And it's from Washington State's Senate and House of Representatives. Here's what it says. First, it justifies in a set of whereas statements why universal health care and affordable health care is very important for the United States. In addition, it says that our healthcare system is in a downward spiral with continuing skyrocketing of costs and medical debt. The United Nations supports healthcare as a human right. It has a Dr. Martin Luther King quote, "Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in health is the most shocking and inhumane. And a universal healthcare program is going to be the most efficient and cost-effective program of providing healthcare." Now, we have more justifications where a state-run universal healthcare program could provide healthcare to our citizens. That health plan would establish a state agency to finance and pay for everything. It would reduce financial barriers to access care by making care free at the point of service. Businesses and workers would benefit by lowering the cost of healthcare and removing the insurance companies from this market. The next set of whereas statements talks about what the failures of our healthcare system are, where private health insurance is kind of the main one. There's a bunch of independent companies that work to make sure that healthcare is not available to many of us. The failures of our healthcare system impact our most marginalized communities. So the first thing we ask for is for the federal government to create a universal healthcare program. This would be Medicare for all, to ensure that every resident of our state, but across the whole country, also has timely access to healthcare services. If the federal government does not do this, then in the second part, the legislature asks the federal government to partner with the state of Washington to reduce barriers and allow the state to successfully implement a universal healthcare system here. If they don't do either of the first two things, what we ask for is to grant Washington State the appropriate waivers to remove the restrictions on the state's ability to create a universal healthcare program. So this is specifically for like Medicare and Medicaid. So what's the main impact of Senate Joint Memorial 8004 passing? It increases the political capital of whole Washington and universal healthcare in Washington State. It deepens the state's commitment to universal healthcare. In fact, all but one Democrat voted for Senate Joint Memorial 8004 in the House. And this is out of 57, because 56 votes were in favor of this. Additionally, really importantly, Senator Cleveland, who is the House committee chair, said that this was necessary for a hearing for a universal healthcare bill in her committee. So what's next for universal healthcare here in Washington State? Well, whole Washington still has two bills, SB 5233 and HB 1445, that need to get a hearing in the respective healthcare committees next session in 2026. Financial review and subsequent adjustments to our bill's funding would strengthen our bill's chance at passing. And we should all continue talking to our elected officials about whole Washington and universal healthcare and how important it is. Want to help universal healthcare succeed in Washington? Pledge to sign our initiative. Sign up to volunteer, donate to our cause, print our literature, attend an orientation, and I hope to see you there.